If you're a course creator or program creator and you want to make up to 40% more revenue without changing your course, without raising your prices, then watch this video. Many of you have a fantastic course. You're just not selling enough of it, or you're seeing other people with courses the same, or sometimes you even look at them and you go, yours is a little bit better, but yet they're selling it for twice as much as you do. So here's what I discovered after working with over 100 course and program creators over the years, is that there's a couple of simple steps that you're missing that can make all the difference. So number one, you're leaving a bunch of money on the table because you're pricing off of a guess, or you're not pricing because of fear. The fear that someone will say no. The fear that you have to, or the belief, not the fear, right? So there's a fear that someone will say no, but then there's a belief that people won't buy unless you give them a discount or a bunch of bonuses. Now, that does work, or they wouldn't be doing it. But the reason that you can increase your revenue without having to raise your price or having to tweak your course or create a whole new one is don't worry about objections. What you need to do is don't worry about competition, is get a revenue building model in place. The reason that you're not selling enough is because you're either doing everything yourself because you feel you can't afford it, or you feel that you got to wait until a certain point before that happens. That is not true. You can start right now when you can do this one thing that eliminates most of the problems that you have, which is building your revenue. You don't even have to fix your prices yet. If you know how to build revenue, that's step one in getting 40% more in sales than you do now. And I'll prove it to you. So in building revenue, there's only really 5 areas that a CFO would focus on. There's leads, lead conversions, the price that you charge, the lifetime value, how many times you sell a client, and then your profit margin. And most of you haven't touched any of these. So start with number one, with leads. The average course and program creator that I talk to, if they're selling digital programs and they're earning a living, but they're feeling like they're right here because they're either earning a living and living okay, but they're living to work. And so if you're there where you're making some money and on paper it looks like you're doing well, but in reality, you're working on a really good slow week, 40 plus hours. You're answering emails at 10 o'clock at night. You're answering texts during dinner. Your family expects you to be interrupted, right? You go on vacation and they go have fun and you're up in the office you're up in the hotel room working. So you're really just paying to work at a more exotic place. And then you enjoy half of the day when your family's already done everything else. This isn't a recipe for success. That's a recipe to feel bad about what you're doing and feel like you're not being successful when you are. What you want to do is you want to build your revenue up. Focus on number one. And here's the thing though, right? When your revenue's up, right now, think about it. If you had, let's say your expenses are 5,000 a month and you want your income to be 7,000 a month, that's 12,000. If you had 15,000 or more coming in a month, you would feel like everything's great, right? You wouldn't have the problems that you perceive you have right now. So it's not that the problems are there, because they would be. You'd just be able to take care of them. The problem is you don't have enough revenue. So let's fix that problem. The people that I work with, we focus on these 5 areas and we figure out simple strategies that make them increase. So start by your leads. How many leads are you attracting? So when you do a launch, if you get 100 leads, how many do you sell? If you're like the average, you're going to sell about a third of them. On a really good month, you sell half, but that's a really good month. And then how many do you resell? Right? The average is about 15%. And quite frankly, at least half of those come on their own, not without a good follow-up strategy in place. So focus on your leads. How are you getting them? What could you do to expand that? To, uh, dare I say, double? Could you double that amount of leads? Imagine if you only had 200. That's only 200 out of the tens or hundreds of thousands of people that buy the similar type programs that you sell. If you could just double your leads to 200 leads if you get 100, what would happen to your income and your revenues? You're delivering the same product. Usually it doesn't cost you more to deliver it. You just have more follow-up to do. Hopefully you're doing the follow-up. But it would cost you nothing outside of that effort or expense to increase your leads. Start with that. Your lead conversion will just through fruition, through activity, will get a little bit better. Imagine if you focused on that step two and you took your conversion rate from 30% or 33%, which is a national average, to 50% or 40% even. With just a 5% increase, 38% or 35%, your numbers would go up about 30%. I just calculated that really quick. They'd go up about 30% year over year. 30% increase with just 5% more coming in. Imagine if you tweak that 10%. If you do, I guarantee your revenues will increase 30 plus percent, your profit will increase by 50 plus percent, and your income grows with it. So focus on the strategies that you need to make sure that you do it. Don't try to tweak your program. Don't feel you need to add bonuses. Don't think you need a bigger discount like everybody else is doing it. Don't worry about the objections. Focus on the value that you provide to people and make sure that the value is higher than the expense, the perceived expense. If you're talking to the right people, this is a no-brainer. You will absolutely crush it. So I have a client who did this, and they were charging $9.97 for a program that easily could be $24.97. And by just focusing on the leads was a step number one, because we didn't want to focus on everything and freak them out, right? When you double that lead count and you can increase your sales from 30% to 40 or 50%, and in his case, it was about 43%. His income rose within 4 weeks, 4 weeks. You can do this. Now that same program, because we've been working together and now we're upping for another 6 months to work together, is $24.97. He's selling the same amount of programs that he was at $9.97. The same amount. What do you think has happened to his income? What do you think has happened to his expenses? His expenses didn't rise dramatically. They rose a little bit. He's paying me, right? And there was one other program we used. So his expenses didn't go up dramatically, yet he's charging $1,400 more per sale, or $1,500, sorry, per sale. And he's getting it because half of it's up here and half of it was in the way that he presented it. But we started by building revenue. So start by building your revenue, get that up and running. You can do it quickly. In 30 days, you can turn this thing around because you'll start seeing it come in. And when you're having more leads, you're having more conversations. And when you have more conversations, you're better at it. Your confidence rises, your belief rises, and your understanding that you have a successful business and a successful program, or you can deliver a successful speech if you're a speaker and get people to sign up for your events, your next events. That's proof in the pudding. Do it by expanding your leads and then refining your conversation track talk to increase your belief, your confidence, and your results. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel, like this video down below here. I really appreciate all of the comments if you give them, but thank you for watching this video today.